Hey everybody, Stacy here. This is going to be a tutorial on how to create cutout characters for your Cake Smash sets. The first thing you need to know is how big your character or your image is going to be. I like to make my Cake Smash sets at least 90 inches wide, sometimes 96, depending on the background and how much is shown. If I'm ordering a specific set, I always look at the preview to see which one shows more of the set, right? So if anything's getting cut off, then I will get the 96. But 90 is wide enough, and if I have to, I can add curtains on the side. But 90 is kind of what I gauge everything off of. So I know that 90 inches is approximately 7.5 feet. So I'm going to design my characters based on those numbers. Now your subject should be pulled out away from the backdrop about at least 4 feet, right? I tend to pull it sometimes a little bit more than that. Just to give you an example, here's one I did recently. And you can see she's about 4 feet in front of the backdrop, and it doesn't look like that, right? So you want them pulled out quite a bit so that the background will look proportionate and be a little bokeh, because you want your subject to be the main focus. So just keep that in mind. All right, so first thing you want to do is go to Walgreens or wherever you're going to have this printed, so you know exactly what size your file needs to be. When you go to walgreens.com, you're going to want to go to the photo department first. So go to Photo Home, and now you can search for, here are all my past projects, so I'll re-show you how to do everything. But you're going to search for banner. And down here, if you scroll to banners, right here is banners, you have 3 options. You do not want vinyl. That's for like an outdoor, like graduation banner, heavy duty, thick, shiny. You don't want that. Adhesive banners might be tempting because you know you're going to stick it on foam. You don't want that either though, because it's going to be harder to cut out. You want just the plain old paper banner, plus it's the cheapest. So we're going to go with that one. Now here's where you get to decide on your size. So we're going to create our own. So we're going to upload our own. We're not creating it in Walgreens, so we don't want this create your own. We want upload your own design because we're going to design it in Photoshop. So click on that one, and here is where you have your size options. If you're only doing like one object, let's say you're just doing a basketball, you could get away with the 1x3, right? Because a 1 foot by 1 foot is probably fine for a basketball. 2x8 you're going to want to do if you have a whole bunch of characters or like a bunch of bows or flowers, and you're going to need a whole bunch of stuff printed, then you're going to do the 2x8. For me, I know that 2x6 is probably plenty. The caterpillar I'm designing, I don't want it to be 6 feet long, so this will be plenty for me. So I know 2x6 is where I'm going. So when I come into Photoshop then, and I go to File, New, I'm going to click on the custom 300 ppi, and you're going to set your width and your height to be that 2x6, or in inches, 72 by 24, 300 ppi. You can either do white or a transparent background. I'm going to do white because I want to see what I'm working with. I want to see, you know how when you do transparent, it's got like that gray and white like checkerboard, and I don't really like that. I like to be able to see what I'm working with. So we're going to do a white background and create. Now I already have my grid turned on, so I'll show you how to turn that on and off. Show grid. Okay, so when you first get into Photoshop, this is what it's going to look like. And you want to make sure you can see 2 things. The ruler, so go up to View, Ruler. So now it's gone, right? So click it on. You need that so you know exactly the size that your character is going to be. So you can scroll up and down to see it like next to the ruler. Okay, and then if you want a grid, like let's say you want to make something, I don't know, lined up with like 2 objects lined up, and you want to see like how they compare in size, you could go to View, Show, Grid, and that kind of, those are by inches too. So the grid is going to show exactly how many inches your character is. Today, I don't think I really need the grid showing. I might pull it back in later, but we'll see. Okay, then you're going to Okay, so we've got our sizing of our Photoshop file, right? Now we have to go find the character. What you're going to do is go to Etsy. You're going to type in what you're looking for. So today I'm working on a caterpillar PNG. You can do clip art, you can just do PNG, however you want. You might have to type in a few different things. And then you search. And you can look for a pretty cheap one as long as you read the description and that it's full resolution. You don't want to accidentally pay $1.97 and then the resolution is like really low quality, right? So just make sure that you're reading through this and that you're getting a high resolution. So it says right here, high resolution PNG file. So then you're going to check out, you're going to buy that. It'll tell you to your download files are ready. You download those. Put them in a folder where you can find them easily. Okay. Now back into Photoshop. You have two options. You can go find that file. So I could go to my digital backdrops here. I have a caterpillar folder already. Where is it? There it is. I could drag my caterpillar onto here, or, and this is what I usually do, instead of going and opening a bunch of folders, I usually just go to File, Place Embedded, and then I go and find it. So I'm going to do this caterpillar right here, number 30, and we're going to place him on here. And now it's already like on the transform, so you can just drag this around. If you don't have those, you can just hit Control T and you'll get those dragging corners. And you're going to make this as big as you need. So if I drag this all the way to the edge and I make him full size, pretty much full size. Okay, let's see how big that guy is. So he's looking, if I drag him up to here, we're right about 54 inches, which 54 divided by 12 puts us at, 4.5 feet wide. If my backdrop is 7.5 feet wide, so that gives me 3 feet of wiggle room. So about 1.5 feet on each side. I don't know if 1.5 feet is quite enough because I know I'm going to put some flowers and some real fruit and maybe like a 1, the letters for 1. I know I'm going to put some baskets. So I think I need a little more wiggle room than just 1.5 feet on each side. So I'm going to shrink him down a little bit more to probably around 50-ish inches. That should put us closer to like 4 feet. Yeah, so 50 inches is 4.1 feet. So that's a pretty good size there. And then I'm going to pull him away from the edges just a little bit, just in case the printer like cuts him off. I don't want any of that. So there's that. Now, I really only need the caterpillar, but I've got all the space on the side. I might as well use it. So my recommendation to you is if you have space on your file, go ahead and just put some stuff there that even if it's something you might use in the future, a bow, some flowers, a balloon, just anything, right? You might as well use up the space so that you have it later. I'm going to see if there's some more characters I can put in here. I know I'm going to use real fruit, so I'm not going to use any of these fruit files. So I'm going to use this butterfly here. Now I've known from doing, when I did the bows before, it was kind of hard to see what size bow I needed. It was kind of hard to visualize that. So I'm going to do the same thing with these butterflies that I did with the bows. I'm going to make 3 different size butterflies, and then I'll use the one that works best. So there's one. I'm going to do Control J, and I'm going to make the next one a little bit smaller and squeeze them in here. And you never know, I might want 3 different size butterflies. Control J, Control T, and I'm going to rotate this guy so that he'll fit right in here. It does not matter if they're going all whoppy jaw in different directions because you're going to cut them out anyway. So just squeeze them in here as long as you have white space all around. And if I wanted to, I could print one more thing here. I could maybe put a pear or something. I don't think I want a pear though, because like I said, I'm using real fruit, but maybe I want to do a cupcake. Let's see, this is for a little boy, so I'm not going to do a pink cupcake. I'm going to do a yellow cupcake. And I will probably just cut out that caterpillar when I get it printed. I'm just going to cut this caterpillar out and not use him. I'll cut out the cupcake, maybe, if I even want to use the cupcake. Okay, so once you have your file, you're going to go to File, Export As, and make sure you are exporting this as a high resolution full file. Then you're going to export that, put it in a folder where you can find it easily. So here's a second one. So I've already done one of these. Save it there. Done. Then you'll also want to save your Photoshop file. So save as. This time we're going to save it as a PSD file. So I'm going to say this one is with cupcake. That way, let's say you print it at Walgreens, you cut it out, and it's not working for your set. It's too big, it's too small. You can come back into Photoshop and open that same file and just resize it a lot quicker than going through the whole thing again. So we'll save that. So save it twice. Save it as a JPEG and save it as a Photoshop file, just for future use. Okay, now we're going to go back to Walgreens. And we decided to 2x6. Just make sure that you pick the correct size for whatever Photoshop file you created. And then create now. And you're going to go to Upload Photos. You can, I would do a new album, or you can label it. You could call it the Caterpillar album or whatever you want to say. Then you're going to select folder or photos. Now go to the folder where you saved those. So here's my cutout, and mine was with, it was cutout 2 because it has a cupcake. And once that's done uploading, you're going to click OK. Done. Or I'm sorry, you're going to click Done, not OK. Add that to the project, and there it is. You're going to go to, once it looks good, nothing's getting cut off, you're going to go to Review Order. You do want a 2x6 because if you look at the preview of 2x8, it's going to cut into your design. So 2x6 is correct. Continue. There we go. Proceed to cart. Nope, I want to go to my cart. Now I want to show you something. If you Google Walgreens coupons, sometimes the coupons will be flashing across the top, but if you can't find one on the Walgreens website, if you go to Walgreens coupons, there are almost always coupons you can find. Like Retail Me Not always has them. So right here, 35% off. If you click show code and you copy it, you can test it here. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but apply. And look at that. It took $19 off your order. So for $12.80, you can get a full banner. So never pay full price. Always look around for a coupon first. Like I said, sometimes they're up here across the top. 20% off $50. Well, we're not spending $50. 25% off is Summer Essentials. If we go to photo, let's see if any new coupons pop up. Buy one, get 2 free enlargements. Click through them. Cards and stationery, we're not doing that. Unless this is considered stationery, I doubt it though. Photo books. So none of these work for today, but I did find one on Retail Me Not that did work. So you apply that. Then you're going to proceed to checkout, and it'll be ready same day. You're going to pick that up, and then you're going to follow my next video, which is how to cut it out, glue it onto foam, and then apply it to your set. Good luck creating your characters. I hope that helps.